All right, let's dive into this, shall we?
Right.
Today, we're going deep on this whole power of the mind thing.
Oh, yeah.
Um, you sent over that conversation with Ed Mylett and Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yes.
And I gotta say,
Fascinating stuff.
yeah, this guy is like, I mean, a neuroscientist, but like really gets into this mind-body connection.
Yeah, bridging the gap between the hardcore science and like the self-help world.
Right.
Um,
It's amazing. And I think, you know, for me, the big takeaway is like, if we're not careful,
yeah.
our brains can kind of get stuck
Yeah.
in this loop, right?
Absolutely, yeah. He calls it the brain is a record of the past.
Okay.
And so if you're constantly thinking about the past,
Yeah.
all the things that have happened to you, the heartbreaks, the anxieties, the failures,
Mm.
your brain chemistry is actually mirroring that.
Mm.
So you're literally
Ah.
reinforcing those neural pathways.
So it's not just like, positive vibes only. It's
Yeah.
like there's an actual
There's
physical.
science.
Yeah.
There's actual science behind it.
Yeah, that our thoughts really do become our reality.
Absolutely. And this leads to one of his most fascinating concepts, I think, which is to change your life, you have to change your personality.
Okay, now that's deep. What does that even mean?
Not in a superficial way,
Right.
but at the deepest level
Okay.
of, the unconscious patterns.
Okay.
And this is where the mind-body connection really comes into play, because Dr. Dispenza says that the body is the unconscious mind.
Hold on. So our bodies are like walking records
Yes.
of all these unconscious beliefs
So,
and patterns. And,
Yeah.
oh my
And
God.
here's where it gets even more crazy, is that the body doesn't know the difference between something that's actually happening
Okay.
and something that you are vividly imagining.
Oh, wow.
So if you're constantly replaying in your mind negative scenarios,
Right.
your body is experiencing all of the stress,
Wow.
the anxiety, as if it were real.
So then conversely, if I'm constantly
Yeah.
imagining or thinking about positive outcomes or things, then my body's going to be like, oh, this is great. Let's do more of this.
Yeah, he talks about teaching the body emotionally what the future is going to feel like.
Mm.
So if you can conjure up the feeling of achieving that goal,
Right.
that feeling of joy, accomplishment,
Yeah.
your body starts to believe it's already happened. And then guess what?
Yeah.
That can actually shift your behavior and the opportunities you attract into your life.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I mean, it makes sense. If you think about like even just something
Yeah.
you're really excited about,
Totally.
you're just naturally going to
Mm.
put more energy toward that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to be more likely to attract it into your life.
It's so cool.
And his research is amazing because he does brain scans. He
Mm.
measures heart rate variability, all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And what he's found is that when people embody the emotion,
Yeah.
like let's say gratitude,
Yeah.
their physiology actually changes, like measurably. It's like they're already living in that future, at least in their bodies.
So it's not just the positive thinking.
It's about feeling it.
It's about the feeling.
It's about feeling the emotion.
Yeah.
And here's a fascinating thing about gratitude,
Okay.
is that it actually has a unique emotional signature.
Really?
So gratitude is saying, thank you for something you already have.
Mm.
So you're reinforcing that belief
Oh.
in your subconscious mind.
So even if it's something that I
Yeah.
don't have yet, but if I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
thank you so much for this amazing thing,
You're telling your brain and your body it's already yours.
I'm like signaling
Yeah,
it's already mine.
that's right.
Wow.
And that's powerful.
Yeah, that's a powerful mindset shift.
And this leads to another point, which is that our emotions shape not just our moods, but our entire personalities.
Oh, okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard someone say,
Yeah.
oh, he has such a sunny disposition?
Or she's so negative.
Yeah, or she's a negative Nancy.
Right. Right.
Like those patterns are etched into their nervous system.
So all those little,
Yeah.
daily moods
Yeah.
and, emotional reactions,
They build up.
they really are.
They build up over time.
Building up over time.
He talks about how prolonged negative emotions, like if you stay in a bad mood for an extended period of time,
Yeah.
that can solidify into what's called a temperament.
Okay.
And then eventually that temperament becomes part of your ingrained personality.
Oh my gosh.
And then it goes even deeper than that, because he says very emotional events,
Right.
especially traumatic ones, can create these really lasting imprints in our mind.
Yeah.
And those memories shape how we see ourselves and the world,
Right.
even if they aren't accurate.
Oh, that's right.
He talks about that.
He was talking about how
Yeah.
like half of what we remember
I think he said 50%.
isn't even real.
of what we think we recall might not even be true.
Yeah.
We unknowingly twist the narrative to fit what we already believe.
Wow.
So it's like
Crazy.
our emotions are literally coloring our perception.
Mm.
So if we're constantly filtering our experience through a lens of fear or lack, we're going to see more evidence to support those beliefs.
Wow.
It's a vicious cycle.
So, okay, it's clear that,
Okay, yeah.
you know, what we think and how we feel has this profound impact on our reality.
Yeah.
But, like, if we are kind of, you know, in these negative patterns, how do we break free? Where do we even begin?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's where it starts to get really good.
Okay.
That's where Dr. Dispenza's work really gets empowering, because he says it all comes down to shifting our attention. Where we place our attention is where you place our energy.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's what grows.
Okay.
So if we are constantly dwelling on what's wrong, if we're constantly, you know, ruminating on the negative.
It's like watering the weeds in our mental garden instead of the flowers.
Yes, you are giving energy to what you don't want.
Right.
And he takes it even further and says that, you know, in relationships, if you are harboring resentment or anger towards another person, you're actually giving them your power.
Whoa.
You're letting them occupy space in your head rent-free.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That's
a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So then by shifting my attention away from those things, it's like I'm taking back my power.
You are reclaiming your energy. And this is so cool.
Yeah.
Because what he has found is that people who are consciously directing their attention towards positive emotions, they generate a stronger electromagnetic field around their bodies.
Oh, this is measurable.
Really? It's like we become magnets for what we're putting out.
Exactly.
Wow.
So this is
wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay.
So then,
and this leads to
one of the most powerful tools for mastering our minds, which is meditation.
Okay. I know.
I hear you say meditation, and I'm already like,
I know. Here we go.
It's tough.
No.
Yeah, but the way that Dr. Dispenza frames it is really interesting.
Okay.
He describes meditation as simply becoming familiar with yourself.
Okay.
So it's not about, you know, emptying your mind or achieving some sort of blissful state.
Yeah.
It's just creating space between you and the constant chatter of the mind.
Okay.
So it's like hitting the pause button on a movie. You're not trying to stop the movie.
Right.
You're just taking a moment to step back and observe what's playing on the screen.
So I'm not trying to get rid of my thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to create some space
That's it.
between me and them.
Yes.
Okay.
He uses this analogy of watching clouds drift by. You notice them, you acknowledge them, but you don't try to grab hold of them.
I like that. It takes the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, it's not about achieving something.
Yeah.
It's just about
showing up
consistently.
Yeah.
And doing the work even when it's messy.
Yeah.
And the benefits are so much more than just feeling calmer.
Right.
You know, meditation helps us break free from the grip of the past.
Okay.
Master the present moment. And it helps us access that place of pure awareness.
Okay.
Where our true potential resides.
It's like we're clearing out all the, you know,
the mental plug,
the underbrush, and creating space for new growth.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So how does that awareness translate into actually creating what we want?
That's where the power of intention comes in. So once we quiet the mind through meditation, we can then plant those seeds of intention.
Okay.
It's like setting our internal GPS towards our desired destination.
So we're not just observing our thoughts.
You're
directing them.
Taking control of the steering wheel.
Yes.
And visualization is huge here.
Okay.
So Dr. Dispenza encourages us to create vivid mental pictures of the reality that we want to manifest.
Like mental rehearsal.
Exactly. Like athletes visualizing winning the game.
Right, right.
But he takes it even further and says, you have to embody the emotions associated with that desired outcome.
Interesting.
So it's not just about seeing it, it's about feeling it in every cell of your being.
So if I'm envisioning my, you know, successful business, it's not just enough to see the, you know,
the big office,
the corner office, and
money rolling in.
Money rolling in. It's about, but I've got to feel the
How do you feel?
The sense of accomplishment
Yes.
and the freedom.
What is the energy?
And, joy of helping people.
Yes.
Oh.
That's how you convince your subconscious mind that this is already yours.
Just like tricking our brains.
You're rewiring your brain and body to align with that vision.
That's wild.
I know. It's pretty cool.
So we've got meditation.
Okay.
We've got intention.
Yes.
Visualization.
Yes.
What else? Are there other key things?
Gratitude.
Okay, we talked about that a little bit before.
We did. But it's so important.
Yeah.
Gratitude is like one of the simplest but most potent.
Yeah. And I've noticed that when I do make an effort to practice gratitude, my perspective shifts.
Yeah.
It's like I'm suddenly aware of all the things that are good instead of focusing on what I don't have.
You're shifting your focus.
Yeah.
And that is everything.
Yeah.
When you're in a state of gratitude, you're telling the universe, hey, I'm open to receiving more good things.
Yeah. It's like I'm putting out the, positive energies.
Get frequency.
Yeah.
And drawing back.
Drawing it back in.
The positive.
A magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just positive affirmations.
It's about the feeling.
It's about genuinely feeling grateful.
Cultivating.
Yeah.
Cultivating that feeling.
And it starts with being aware of even the little things.
Even the smallest thing. The warmth of the sun on your skin.
The fact that I have, clean water to drink and,
that you woke up this morning.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
There's a lot to be grateful for.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it can feel a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like we're responsible.
Like, oh my gosh, I've got to create.
My whole reality.
Like, that's a lot of pressure.
He's very clear that we're not doing this alone.
Okay.
He talks about connecting to a higher power.
Okay.
A universal intelligence, whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
But tapping into that infinite source of energy and creativity.
So it's about surrendering
Yes.
to something bigger than ourselves.
And trusting.
And trusting that.
It's all going to work out.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I like that. It's like let God.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my part, but I'm also going to surrender to the.
To the flow.
Yeah, to the flow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is all very inspiring.
Yeah.
But I'm also thinking, like, how do we actually.
Yeah, where's the rubber meet the road?
Yeah. How do I actually make this applicable?
Well, one of the simplest things
Okay.
is to start paying attention to our thoughts.
Okay.
Just notice the stories that we're telling ourselves all day long.
Okay.
So become more mindful.
Become more mindful of the mental chatter.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And ask yourself,
Yeah.
are these thoughts serving me?
Okay.
Are they helping me move towards my goals?
Okay.
Or are they holding me back?
Yeah.
And if they're not serving you,
Yeah.
you can choose to reframe them.
Okay.
Or simply let them go.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
that one's not
That's not helpful.
helpful. Just get rid of it.
Let it go.
Next.
Okay. So becoming aware of the thoughts and then also
The emotions.
the
So,
emotion.
emotional pattern.
Like, what are my triggers?
What triggers you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are
those things that I'm always...
What are those things that you find yourself kind of getting hooked on?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you identify those,
Yeah.
you can develop healthier coping mechanisms.
Okay.
So instead of reaching for that
Right.
extra glass of wine,
Right. Or,
or scrolling, you're scrolling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're feeling stressed or anxious,
Yeah.
maybe you do some meditation.
Right.
Maybe you journal.
Yeah.
Maybe you go out in nature.
Okay.
Things that are more nourishing for you.
Yeah. Like, have a toolbox.
A toolbox.
Or strategies.
Strategies.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight.
Of course not.
Yeah, you're not going to wake up one day
Yeah.
and be like, I'm a master of my mind.
I've got it all figured out.
It's a journey.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
practice.
Yeah, it's a practice.
And it's about being patient with yourself
Right.
and celebrating those small victories along the way.
Those small wins.
The small wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get discouraged when we're like, oh, I'm not,
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And I haven't,
It's not about perfection.
you can't.
Achieve this thing.
It's about progress.
Okay.
It's about those small shifts
Yeah.
in our thinking and our behavior
Yeah.
that create lasting change.
It's those little micro adjustments
Micro adjustments.
that add up over time.
And remember, every time
Yeah.
you choose a more empowering thought or action,
Yeah.
you're literally rewiring your brain
Wow.
and moving closer to that reality.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about, kind of how to start, shifting our thinking and our behavior.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about what he has to say about, the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like how all of this...
How we're all connected.
Yeah, we're all connected. Like how does your
individual
journey impact, humanity?
Yes. That's beautiful.
As a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really important piece of his work. He talks about how we're all interconnected and how our individual energy contributes to the collective consciousness.
So it's like we're all part of this giant energy field.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and our individual vibrations contribute to the overall frequency.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really exciting.
Yeah.
Because he believes that as more and more people raise their consciousness and choose love over fear, gratitude over resentment, compassion over judgment.
Okay.
It creates a ripple effect that can literally change the world.
Wow.
So it's like we're all co-creating a new reality for humanity based on all the good stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and all the tools and techniques that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Give us a roadmap.
Yeah.
For doing just that.
So we all have a part
to
play in this.
We each have a role.
Yeah.
It's both empowering and humbling at the same time.
I like that.
We're being called to step up and become conscious creators.
Like, be the change
That's right.
you want to see in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
It starts with us.
Well, this has been amazing.
I know.
I feel like we've only just
scratched the surface
of all this.
It's a lot.
But I've already got so much to think about. So much to... try to apply to my own life.
He's so inspiring. Yeah. Like, it really makes you believe that we are not victims of our circumstances.
Yeah.
We are creators of our reality.
And if what we think and how we feel is that powerful,
imagine what we can
create.
It's pretty incredible.
It's amazing.
Okay, so before we wrap up part 1 here, I want to ask you, what's one thing from all of this that you think our listeners should really focus on?
I would say to start paying attention to the stories you're telling yourself.
Okay.
Like, just notice
the stories,
the thoughts that are running through your head all day long.
Yeah.
And ask yourself, are they true? And are they serving me?
Wow.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
But it's so profound.
Yeah.
So start there.
Yeah. Okay, great advice.
Yeah.
We will pick this back up.
Absolutely.
Look forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back.
Yeah.
And last time we were talking about all this,
the power of the mind.
The power of the mind.
Yeah. And how our thoughts and feelings really do create our reality?
It's pretty wild.
Yeah. So I guess the big question is, like, how do we take all this knowledge and
try it?
Yeah. And actually, like,
make some changes.
Yeah, make some changes in our lives.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy.
Right.
But it's definitely possible.
Okay, so what do we do?
Well, we talked about awareness. And how important that is.
Yeah.
And it's really just the beginning.
Okay.
Because once we become aware of the stories we're telling ourselves, the limiting beliefs,
the negative pattern,
the emotional baggage, then we can start to shift them.
Okay, so how do we actually shift them?
Well, one of the things that Dr. Dispenza talks about is changing your energy.
Okay.
So literally shifting your electromagnetic field.
Okay. How do we do that?
Well, he talks about the heart. And he says that the heart is actually the most powerful electromagnetic generator in the body.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I always thought it was the brain.
Well, the brain has electromagnetic field, but the heart's is like way bigger. And he says that when we focus on the heart and we cultivate feelings of love and gratitude, compassion, our heart actually starts to emit a different frequency.
Oh, wow.
And this frequency can actually impact our physical health.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Our emotional well-being.
Wow. So there's a physiological change that happens when we're...
He calls it a heart-on.
Okay.
As opposed to a head-on.
Interesting.
Yeah. So instead of leading with our thoughts and our worries, we lead with our hearts. And when we do that, our whole energy shifts.
Okay. So love and gratitude.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah. Those are powerful emotions.
Yeah.
And they literally change our physiology.
That's amazing.
It is.
So how do we actually cultivate those emotions?
Well, there are a lot of different practices.
Okay.
But one of the simplest
Yeah.
is just to start focusing on the things that you're grateful for throughout the day.
Like a gratitude journal.
Or a gratitude journal is a great idea.
Okay.
Or just taking a few moments
Yeah.
to really appreciate the good things in your life.
Like even just taking a moment to pause and be like, okay.
Yeah. I'm breathing.
I'm grateful for...
I have a roof over my head.
Oh, Brett.
I have food.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another powerful practice is loving kindness meditation.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where you basically send love and compassion to yourself, to loved ones, strangers, and even to people you might have difficulty with.
Oh, wow.
So it's really about expanding that feeling of love.
Expanding our capacity for love and compassion.
Exactly. And this has been shown to have a profound impact.
Really?
On both our mental and physical health.
Wow.
Yeah. It reduces stress. It boosts our immune system.
Wow.
It increases feelings of happiness and well-being.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about, shifting our energy by focusing on the heart and cultivating love and gratitude and compassion.
Yes.
But what about the practical stuff? Like how do we deal with, the day-to-day challenges?
Yeah, that's a great question.
The stress of work and relationships and all of that.
Well, one of the things that Dr. Dispenza talks about is the importance of creating a new personality.
Okay, we talked about this.
We did.
A little bit before, but what does that mean?
So it's not about changing who you are at your core.
Okay.
It's about becoming more aware of the unconscious patterns that are running your life.
Okay.
And then making conscious choices to create new patterns that are more aligned with who you want to be.
So it's about breaking free from the old programming and installing a new operating system.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like that.
And one of the keys to doing this is changing our habits.
Okay.
Because our habits are basically...
They're like those grooves in the record.
They are the programs that are running our lives.
Okay.
So if we want to create a new reality...
Right.
We have to create new habits.
Okay. So what are some practical tips for changing our habits?
Well, one of the things that he talks about is starting small.
Okay.
So don't try to change everything at once.
Right.
Just pick one or two things
that you want to focus on and then create a plan for how you're going to change those habits.
So like a step-by-step
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the key here is to be consistent.
Okay.
Because it takes time.
Right.
To rewire those neural pathways.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No, it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
It takes repetition.
Okay.
And it takes patience.
Yeah.
But if you stick with it,
you
will see results.
You will create a new reality.
You will create a new reality.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about shifting our energy.
Yeah.
We've talked about creating new habits. What else?
Well, another important aspect of Dr. Dispenza's work is what he calls the blessing of the energy centers.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What does that mean?
So he's talking about the chakras, which are these energy centers in the body. And he says that each chakra is associated with certain emotions and certain aspects of our lives. And when our chakras are balanced, we experience greater health, well-being, and vitality.
Okay. So how do we balance our chakras?
Well, there are a lot of different techniques.
Okay.
But one of the things that Dr. Dispenza recommends is what he calls the blessing of the energy centers.
Okay.
And this is a meditation.
Okay.
Where you basically go through each chakra. And you visualize it as being open and balanced. And you send it love and gratitude.
Okay.
And you also call in the energy of the divine.
So we're energetically clearing and balancing each of the chakras.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this can be a really powerful practice for shifting our energy.
Okay.
And creating a greater sense of well-being.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about really getting in there.
Yeah, getting into the energy centers.
Yeah, and fine-tuning.
Fine-tuning.
The energetic body.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got, the blessing of the energy centers. We've got gratitude.
Yeah.
We've got...
loving kindness.
Yeah, all these different techniques.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that Dr. Dispenza...
There's a lot
that
he talks about. But one thing I think is really important is this idea of creating a more coherent brain.
Okay, a more coherent brain.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So basically, when different parts of our brain are firing in sync, we experience greater clarity, focus, creativity, and peace.
So it's like our brain is...
Yeah, it's like a symphony.
An orchestra.
Yeah, and all the instruments are playing together.
Instead of everyone just doing their own thing.
Yeah, clashing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we create a more coherent brain?
Well, meditation is a big one.
Yeah.
Because when we meditate, we're actually training our brain to become more focused and synchronized.
So we're like literally changing the structure.
We're literally changing the structure and function of our brains.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And there are other things that we can do too.
Okay.
Like spending time in nature, listening to music, being creative, anything that helps us to feel more connected to ourselves, to others, and to something greater than ourselves.
Okay, so it's like a holistic approach to...
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's not just about, doing a meditation once a day. It's
about living in a way that supports our
overall well-being.
Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual.
Yeah, all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is
a lot. Yeah. So much good information.
It is.
And I love how, Dr. Dispenza really brings in...
He bridges the gap between science and spirituality.
And he makes it
so practical. He gives you, like, actual things that you can do.
Yeah. He doesn't just talk about it.
No. He's like, okay, here's how you do it.
Here are the steps.
See the steps,
So if people want to learn more, where should they go?
Well, his book, Becoming Supernatural, is amazing.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I've heard great things about that book.
It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So check out Becoming Supernatural.
Yeah, and his website is gerardjoedispenza.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a...
I know it's been a good one.
Fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, I love talking about this stuff.
Us too.
Yeah.
And I know our listeners are going to get...
Hopefully they'll get some good takeaways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until next time.
Yeah.
Keep diving deep.
Keep learning and growing.
And remember, the power to shape your reality
lies
within you.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah.